Calm 92.3, where Vegas rocks. It's Sylvia with one half of the UK's award-winning LGBTQ plus comedy podcast, A Gay and Non-Gay. I have Dan Hudson with me.
Yeah,
I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. I can't complain.
We were
Yeah.
talking off a little off mic, and you were in Chicago right now. You're not in the UK.
Yes, I'm in Chicago because I've just done the Chicago Marathon. So I am I'm closer to you than I would normally be, but I'm still quite a long way away. But yeah,
Yeah.
in Chicago, I just did the marathon. So I've got that. I can sense the post-marathon blues like
Oh,
this close, but I'm just about
all the adrenaline is
keeping it at bay. Yeah. Yeah, all the adrenaline's about to leave. So
yeah.
I'm just about
Well,
just about on my last bit of energy.
it's funny because when you reached out, we were trying to like get this interview scheduled. I was like, well, we can do a 1 p.m. West Coast time, and you're like, it's gonna be 9 p.m. over in in London.
It's fine. It's just like if you end up with evening plans or whatever, it's
Oh yeah.
like, it throws a bit of a spanner in the works if you got to do a call
Oh,
at
for
like
sure.
9 o'clock.
So like I said, you hit me up on Instagram actually, and you're like, I have this petition. We're trying to get the Birmingham Airport changed to Ozzy Osbourne International, which I think is really cool. It's just a great way to keep Ozzy's legacy going, especially for the younger generation to know who he was, what he was about, like his music. You were sitting at over 68,000 the last time I checked, which was like I think it's like a day or two ago, which is wild. So we'll get into all of that. But before we do, where can people learn about this petition and where can they go? Because anybody in the world can sign it.
So oddyairport.com is where you need to go, and that takes you directly to the petition, and you can sign it there. And you can also donate some money. So some people have been signing it, and then it comes up saying, "Do you want to chip in?" And basically, if you put in a couple of quid or bucks, as you say, into the petition, then that kind of supercharges your signature, and it gets it in front of more people, and it pays for Instagram ads and Facebook ads and that kind of thing. And it just keeps the whole thing going round and round and round, which is amazing because it's been going round and round for 2 months now. So like you said, every time you look at it, it goes up a little bit more. So it's still around what you said it was last time you looked, but
Mhm.
every time you
It
press
went
refresh,
up.
it goes up, which is amazing. So, and I think it's just going to continue to go up. So please do sign AussieAirport.com, and let's see what we can do and try and get the airport renamed. Yeah.
So obviously, Ozzy is an important part of music, of pop culture. He's a foundation of our radio station. What did Ozzy mean for you, and what does he mean for Birmingham?
Where did you know? Because growing up in Birmingham, you wouldn't really know unless you were a metal head like myself. You wouldn't actually really know that that music was born there. It's really, really strange, especially trying to explain it maybe to Americans because I spent a lot of time in America. That's kind of where those ideas come from a little bit. And Americans are amazing, and they're very loud about the things that the music that has come from the places that they live. So New York and Los Angeles and Nashville and Memphis and New Orleans, all these places are known around the world for the musical climates that they invented. But we just don't do that in the UK, and it's particularly bad in the Midlands area where I am, Birmingham. You
Sure.
just wouldn't know. It's so strange. So you wouldn't know walking around Birmingham that it was like the home of heavy metal. It's changing a little bit now because I think that's how little sort of like mention of it is. I think things are changing. Yeah, growing up, you just wouldn't even know, which is crazy. But if you do know, then it's the best thing in the world, really, to come from that place. And every single touring bands, all the bands that you come on that you play on your station, when they come through Birmingham, they're like, "Oh my God, this is the home of Ozzy Osbourne and Black
Yeah.
Sabbath." And that was always amazing to see growing up. Bands being properly excited to be in our city. And obviously, Ozzy just yeah, I'm not like a huge Ozzy Osbourne, like diehard Black Sabbath fan like I am. As you are, I imagine, like just a diehard fan of the culture and of the scene. And the energy that he spawned, and I don't know what your question was. I'm just now rambling, but
No, it's fine.
basically, yeah, it was everything.
But when you decided to do this, did you expect it to kind of blow up the way that it has? Or like what's been the reaction you've seen kind of by the last couple of months?
I had no idea, actually. I mean, I've had this idea for years, to be honest.
Okay.
And that is from traveling to America and going around all the airports. Obviously, in Vegas, you've got, they know who Harry Reid is, but I know that he's someone that,
Politician,
they've
yeah.
named, yeah, I know there's someone they've named an airport after. And all these airports all across America are named after people. So I always thought, well, why don't we do that in the UK?
Yeah.
We should do that when he dies, when Ozzy dies, because obviously we knew, there wasn't going to be that long, sadly. And then when it did happen, I thought, should I should I be the person? Should I just start this and see what happens? And I did debate it because I thought, well, if this doesn't work out, it's going to be, it's going to look shit, and it makes Aussie look shit, it makes me look
Mhm.
shit. But I
Mhm.
thought, I don't think it will. I just got a good feeling about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put it up, and it was slow for the first couple of hours, but then
Okay.
overnight it went through the roof, and that was months ago now, and it just hasn't
Really?
stopped. I didn't think it was going to get this big this quickly. No, I thought this was going to be like a crawl,
Yeah.
like years and years and years, and maybe it will take that long, you know, for it to happen. But I'd have never expected to be doing 68,000 so quickly, and to be speaking to people like yourself,
Yeah.
like that's you're in Vegas, I'm in, Birmingham. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is there a
I
little
had
bit
no
of
idea.
is there a little bit of pressure because like it's you, it's your idea, it's your face, you're doing all the media?
I do feel a lot of pressure. Yeah, I do. I was trying to explain this to my friend the other day, and he just didn't understand. He's like, "So what do you mean? You just got to send a load of emails?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am sending a lot of emails. I am, and that's a lot." But also, I do feel like the weight of these 68,000 people, like
A lot.
they've trusted me to some extent to give this, my best shot. And I've got £8,000 from some of these people, which is
Wow.
about, in dollars, what would that be? Like $10,000.
Crazy.
I don't have access to that day. Like I said, it goes in the system and it sort of goes
Mhm.
round and round and round. But people have given me that money, and that's money they could have given to charity. That's money they could have
Yeah.
given to, cancer charities or hospices, or like, and instead of giving it to me. So I absolutely have to give it my best shot. And yeah, it is a lot of pressure. And, it's amazing chatting to people like yourself who are behind the idea. And every time I do have these conversations, it gives me a boost and like, right, I'm good, let's get this done.
Sure.
But equally, people come up to me and say, this isn't going to happen. And there's quite an interesting UK US difference there, I think,
Uh-huh.
because Americans, in my experience, are very positive, whereas British people are very down a lot of the time.
I've
So
heard that.
people,
I've heard that.
so yeah, so people will say, I do interviews in the UK, and people they'll start the interview by saying, this isn't going to happen, right? And I'm like,
You're like, oh well,
is
thanks.
it? Is it not? Like, and I get why it looks like it probably, I get why they think it might not, but when you actually dive down why you think it isn't going to happen, it nothing stacks up. The arguments against doing it don't add up. The
Yeah.
argument for doing it does add up. So I do think it's going to happen. And yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, it is a lot of pressure, but it's a good pressure to have,
Yeah.
and part of the reason I started it, honestly, I had a feeling someone else might start it, and I just didn't want them. I'd be happy for someone else to do it, of
Mhm.
course, but I didn't want someone to do it badly. I didn't
Sure.
want someone to do it and then it just to go and wither and not happen. Whereas I knew that if I started it, I would give it a really, really good shot. And obviously, from being in radio and podcasts, to have a little bit of an
Yeah.
idea as to how to kind of get things moving. So
Yeah, and also
yeah.
I think because you are a metalhead, you have a certain appreciation for the music of Ozzy and his fans to do something like this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I'm part of the culture, like like
Mhm.
yourself is. So we get it a bit more
Yeah.
So that's why, when I say people coming out to me on the street and in interviews and saying, it's not going to happen, they're not metalheads. They're just,
Yeah.
normies, as we call them.
Yeah.
Whereas the metal people get it,
Hmm.
they get it, and they're my people, they're your people, right? So,
Yeah. So what's been the process like because of getting this name change? Because you have, you reached out to myself, you reached out to other people in the United States media. Um, you've gone to a council. Like, what's been your experience of doing this? Because, like you said, it is such a big petition and it's such a big ask.
um, that's a good question. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't really know what I'm doing. Like I don't. I'm not like a seasoned. I mean, I said a minute ago I do know what I'm doing, but only a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm not like a political campaigner or anything. So
sure.
the only thing I can do really is just do the best job that I can that I think will move it slightly further forward that day or that week. So the council thing that you mentioned, that they works a bit differently in the UK, but representative of the council, if you like, a councillor reached out to me and said he backed the petition. Did I want to come and talk to the council? And I actually thought, luckily this isn't going on in the UK, but I actually thought, oh, do I want to do that? That sounds a bit like lame. But actually, when I got there, I was like, oh, this is actually the power is in this room,
Yeah.
and they're normally dealing with like bins and local issues. And this
Mhm.
is kind of a local issue, but they've never really had someone get up and start talking about let's rename the airport after Ozzy Osbourne. And
Yeah.
you can tell that some people are like, what is this guy going on about? But then other people in the room are like, yeah, this is a great idea. So I was really thankful for that, councillor for reaching out to me in the end, because that being able to get in front of people and plead the case who wouldn't necessarily do it otherwise, I think was an amazing thing to do. What was your question? Sorry, I've just gone on
No, just your
tangent.
experience, the whole experience.
Um,
And I think when you say, you don't know what you're there's I think there's a difference between like you not knowing completely what you're doing versus having the passion for metal music, having the passion to do something to, not have Ozzy's legacy, erased or anything like that. And you're doing the best that you can so that you can, you know, just celebrate Ozzy. You have the passion behind it.
yeah, I
You
guess
know
so.
what you're
And
doing in that regard.
yeah, I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I guess like politically and sort of,
Yeah. That's
like
all. That's all different. That's all
that's
different.
a whole that's a whole different thing,
Yeah.
But do I need to know that at this point? Like, because there's an advantage really of seeing things quite simply and going, well, Aussie is this and Birmingham is this, and why can't we do it? And
Mhm.
actually politicians can sit down with me and explain why we can't do things, but I can explain why we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I can say, well, okay, well, why does Las Vegas, how can they manage to do it?
Mhm.
What does that say about us?
Yeah.
If American cities are able to rename airports, quite quickly and at the drop of a hat, why
Mhm.
can't why can't we?
Well, it's interesting because I did see that Birmingham Airport responded to the petition. It was back in July
Yeah.
5th. They were going to look into it and agreed Ozzy should be celebrated. But has there been any sort of movement or update on that?
No, so that's the statement. They put that statement out again last week. They may have
Oh, okay.
worded it slightly differently, but it's essentially the same
Uh-huh.
nonsense. And like it's a bit of a weird statement really, because they're sort of acknowledging that
Yeah.
they something needs to be done, but they're just giving like a really crap, as we say in the UK, a really poor suggestion.
A little bit
That's
generic on their end, right?
yeah. I mean, just putting some photos of Ozzy Osbourne up isn't really enough. You should have done that. They should have done that in the 80s, or the
Yeah.
90s. Bit late now to be like, oh, Ozzy Osbourne's dead. Let's put some
Hmm.
photos up. So but that's as far as we've got with them. I'm
Oh.
not in like a huge hurry to chase them around, to be honest. Like people have said, oh, have you spoken to them directly? And I haven't yet,
Hmm.
but I'm not in a hurry to, because like this is going to take a while to happen. It is
Hmm.
going to, and when I sit down in front of them, I want to be able to have made the case so watertight
Yeah.
that they they can't say no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just sort of like, I wouldn't say this in the UK, but saying it to you, just sort of like biding my time a little bit with them
Mhm.
because like mm, they want this to go away, right?
Uh-huh.
They just hope that this is going to go away, but it isn't. It's just going to keep bubbling away, and eventually, I think they'll have to publicly explain why they can't do it, and I
Yeah.
think they'll go, that's more hassle than just doing it.
Hmm.
It'll get to the point where it's more hassle to keep saying no than it is just to go,
Oh,
well, let's
fine.
just
Let's
do it.
just, yeah.
Yeah,
And I think the right people have to be in there too.
the right people.
The right people, right? Like just someone who understands what you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like we need allies in the
Yeah.
airport and in the council, and yeah,
Hmm.
there's we need people on side who get it like we do.
Yeah.
And I'm gathering those people, by the day. So do you think it will get there? Like if I didn't, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah. And
Um,
have you thought about reaching out to Sharon or, Jack or Kelly, or do they even know that it's going on?
it does because I saw that she liked one of my posts on Instagram. So
Okay.
that was a big moment when I saw that come through that
Perfect.
Sharon
Yeah.
Osbourne liked your post. I haven't like well, I mean, I don't have a way of reaching out to her necessarily,
Hmm.
but even if I did, I don't want to kind of hassle her or anything at this point because from what I understand, I think it's still a bit raw and everything, and
Sure. 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 Sure.
so I don't want to hassle her necessarily. Um, as for the members of the family, I don't know. Like
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't necessarily have a way of getting in touch with them to find out. But I would think they probably do
Hmm.
by this point because I feel like every British person at least knows about this. So I feel like they probably do. I'd love to sit down with them and properly discuss it. But again, I also want when that happens, I want that to be like,
Yeah.
as watertight as possible and not just me be saying, oh, should we do this? I want to sit down with Jack or Kelly or whoever and be
Have a
like,
plan
this
and
is
all that.
this is what,
Yeah.
can you come and open it for us,
Yeah. I feel like if the family got involved, I think it would just skyrocket, right? Like I feel the airport would probably be a little bit more like, okay, let's actually start paying attention.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, it's like, well, you've got who else do you need? Because,
Hmm.
I've got tons of businesses in Birmingham backing it, tons of people obviously in Birmingham and around the world. And then if you've got the family, I mean, maybe the family would be able to contribute financially because I think that might be um, an argument against not doing
Yeah.
it potentially is it's going to cost too much money. But if the Osborns are potentially willing to help out on that front, for example, then it just becomes stronger and stronger a look. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying really. I'm just sort of rambling and going on, but um, I
No, it's
think
great.
I think there'll come a point where yeah, I do get to sit down with all these people,
Yeah.
and we just have a great chat about how we're going to make this work and go to the airport together. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we can all fly on the first flight from BHX to Vegas.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for reaching out. Like I'm glad that we had this talk. I'm glad that we're able to spread the word. Like you said, I'm in Vegas, you're in the UK. Like let's try to spread the word. Let's keep Ozzy's legacy alive. And for anyone who wants to sign the petition, we'll leave the link down below. Again, you can go to change.org, but there's another one.
Change.org is where it happens, but AussieAirport.com is a link that links to change.org if you like.
Perfect.
So yeah, AussieAirport.com.
Awesome. So we'll leave all of the information below. But thank you so much and good luck. And I definitely did sign the petition. So
Glad to hear it. All right, thank you so much for having me. And if I'm in Vegas, which happens now and again,
mhm.
I'll hit you up.
All right, sounds good.
All right, nice one. Take care.